Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a curious little bear named Benny. Benny lived in a cozy cave in the middle of the forest with his family. His family was a huge family. He had over 5 siblings and his mother and father. They were always chattering and speaking about stuff that doesn't even matter. There were birds everywhere and beautiful scenery. One bright sunny morning, Benny woke up feeling adventurous. He decided to explore the forest and see what he could find. Benny's mother warned him to be careful and not to wander too far from home. But Benny was too excited to listen and he set off on his adventure. He walked through the forest. He saw many interesting things. He saw a family of rabbits hopping around, a group of birds chirping in the trees, and even a friendly deer that stopped to say hello. The deer's name was Mia. She was really lovely and spoke to Benny about her life and asked him about his. After the conversation, Benny was having the time of his life. But as the day went on, he began to feel tired and hungry. He realized that he had wandered too far from home and he didn't know how to get back. Benny started to panic. He didn't know what to do. He called out for help, but no one answered. As the sun started to set, Benny began to cry. Just then, he heard a soft voice behind him. It was the friendly deer he had met earlier. The deer asked Benny what was wrong, and Benny told him that he was lost. The deer listened patiently and then said, "Don't worry, Benny. I know the woods like the back of my hoof. I will take you back home." Benny was overjoyed. He followed the deer as he led him through the forest. They walked for a while and soon enough they saw Benny's cave in the distance. All his siblings, his dad and his mom were waiting for him outside. They were worried sick about Benny going missing, as Benny was the favorite child, as he was the youngest one and he was still a little baby. Benny was so happy to be back home. He hugged his mother and told her all about his adventure. He also thanked the friendly deer who had helped him find his way home. From that day on, Benny learned to listen to his mother's advice and not to wander too far from home. He also made a new friend in the friendly deer, who he visited often and went on many more adventures with. One time what happened? The deer and Benny went on an adventure as Benny craved some honey. But this time he decided to follow his mother's advice and only went a little bit where his mother has instructed him to go and not too far. So from his other lesson, Benny learned this. So it's important to learn from your mistakes. Benny did the same and he enjoyed because he followed his mother's advice. Likewise, we all should follow our parents' advice because they know better than us. They have been through a lot. So always follow your parents' advice. It may not seem much at first and it may anger you, but they only do everything with a reason to protect you because they love you so much. So Benny, after listening to his mother's advice, still was happy. So that's all. This is what life is. And from then on, they all lived happily ever after.